إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. يا أخوان، أوصيكم ونفسي بالتقوى. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. وإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى، خصوصا على سيدنا ورسوله وخاتم الأنبياء وعلى آله الأزكياء وأصحابه الأتقياء. أما بعد، اللهم إنا نسألك حبك وحب من يحبك وحب عمل يقربنا إلى حبك يا رب العالمين. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in a very special occasion, 1400 years ago, gathered the companions together in the beautiful masjid in Medina where they sat down. And he asked for all the companions to be present. Every single one. And as the Sahaba were gathering one by one, waiting to hear the announcement, it was during the month right before Ramadan. During this specific month, just a few days, you have to realize that during the Islamic calendar, before the pre-Islamic era, Ramadan was just another month. It was just another month in the lunar year. It was just a very normal month. Even to the Arabs, it wasn't even considered one of the sacred months. It was just a very normal month. And imagine after a year and a half in Medina now, the companions have traveled after being for 13 plus years, and some of them their whole entire lives in Mecca, facing a very rough time, persecution and oppression in the city of Mecca. And now they have traveled, and it's been a very, very long journey that they have traveled from Mecca to Medina. Desert heat. It wasn't an easy journey. And when they have finally arrived to the city of Medina, they have now been working to create a community. Every single person was working hard to create a community, to create a strong ummah, a brotherhood and a sisterhood in the city of Medina. Now, the Prophet ﷺ has gathered all these companions after a year and a half of laying the groundwork of creating brotherhood. They have made the city of Medina a place where any person is welcomed. Young or old, man or woman, Muslim or non-Muslim, they were all welcomed in the city of Medina. How many stories have we heard of companions traveling from across the world to go to Medina to meet the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ? One of them being Salman al-Farisi. That was their main objective. They now have a place they can call home. A place that belongs to the Muslims. Now, just a few days before the month of Ramadan, which at this moment was not any special month to the Muslims at this point, the Prophet ﷺ gathers the companions and he reminds them that 15 years ago, the Quran was revealed. 15 years ago, he reminded them that the Quran was revealed, where the words of Allah came down on his Prophet, Iqra, came down. And the companions are taking this moment in and they are reflecting during this moment. You know, the name of Ramadan doesn't come from anything special. The name of Ramadan, what it means is, it comes from the word Ramadan, which means heat. Extreme, extreme heat. Because whoever was naming the calendar year, the calendar months at that time, it just happened to be that month, that during that time was very extreme heat, so they named it Ramadan. It was nothing special to the Muslims. It was nothing special to the Arabs. Now, so the Prophet Muhammad, he gathered the companions and he told them, Ya ayyuhan nas, qad adallakum shahrun azim. Oh people, a great, great month is about to enter. And that's where he reminded them that this is the month where the Quran was revealed 15 years prior. Now that this month has come upon you, he tells them this is a month of forgiveness, a month of mercy, a month of rahmah, a month of Quran. This is the month of redemption for me and you. This is the month where we revive our iman. This is the month where the heart that has been dead for the entire last 11 months gets revived. This is the month where I drop my bad habits and I gain good habits. This is that month. And he continued to recite and he said, شَهْرُ رَمَضَانَ الَّذِي أُنزِلَ فِيهِ الْقُرْآنِ. It is that this month where the community gathered together. This month where the people of Medina were feeding each other. Where they were staying in the masjid performing i'tikaf together. As one community. And it was also that this month that Allah granted the greatest victory to the Muslims, which was the Battle of Badr. It was at this month where Allah returned the holy Kaaba into what it was, its actual purpose and what it was intended for, during the conquest of Mecca, Fathu Mecca. This all happened during the month of Ramadan. And last time I was here, I spoke about the month of change, which is this month. How companions were able to change overnight. Overnight. All it took was one night for some companions to change from being some of the worst people to the leaders we know today. All it took is one night. Now many of us might be here stuck, wondering, what have I done in the last 25 days of Ramadan? I've wasted 25 days, you see, because the thing is, many of us have had a very long year. We've had a stressful year. And especially when the month of Ramadan comes, you say, okay, I'm going to do a Khutba, I'm going to read Quran, I'm going to donate every day, I'm going to pray Taraweeh every day, I'm going to wake up for Fajr every day. You start setting so many goals for yourself. How many of us have achieved those goals during this month? This past year has been one of the worst years for many of us. Whether we're affected with what's going on around the world, or personal issues, or maybe things haven't been going as smooth as we want it to be, it's been a tough month. And now we look at it that we are almost over with the month of Ramadan, we sit there and say, what have I done? And you see the shaitan comes to you, and at this month, it's not just your normal shaitan, it's shaitan al-nafs, where he comes to you and you start telling yourself, man, I haven't changed in the last 25 days. When am I going to change in the last 4 or 5 days? What's going to happen? What things that I can do differently during the last 5 days that I couldn't do in the last 25 days? You give up hope. And you start to slack. And the fact of the matter is, many of us are disappointed in ourselves. Khalas, Ramadan is over and Ramadan is up. But the thing is, we cannot carry that negative baggage everywhere with us. This is not what the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ taught the Sahaba to do. Because if you realize that the greatest miracles have happened during the month of Ramadan, and the greatest miracle that can happen to me and you is that we are able to become better human beings during the month of Ramadan. That is the greatest miracle you and I can encounter. The greatest miracle. The book of Quran was revealed during the month of Ramadan, so therefore Allah has made it the greatest book to ever come down to the face of this earth. Jibreel was the one who brought down the Quran during the month of Ramadan, so therefore Jibreel was the greatest of all angels. Anything associated with the Quran and this specific month immediately becomes the greatest. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ revealed revelation during the month of Ramadan, therefore he is the greatest prophet. And I want to emphasize a point here. إِنَّ الْأَعْمَالُ بِخَوَاتِمِهَا. It's not about how you started the month, but how do you plan on finishing this month? This is what it's about. How can you finish the race this month? It's not always about how you start. It's about how you finish. Because if we're judging everything based on how you start, then all the companions, we wouldn't call them our leaders today. Because look at their beginnings and look where they are today in history. Look where Umar ibn Khattab was and look where he is today, where we continue to mention his name. Look where Khalid ibn Walid was, where this person used to lead wars and executions against the Muslims. And look where he is today. It's not about how you start the race, it's about how do you finish this race. How do you intend and plan on finishing the month of Ramadan? You might not have started good or started strong, but it's time to toughen up. It's time to complete this month and complete it with proper intention. This is that time. Now, what I really want to mention here is that spirituality, many of us really wonder and ponder upon spirituality. How do I become a spiritual person? A person who feels, a person who has a heart that's soft. There's two aspects to spirituality. The first aspect is intention. Intention. إِنَّ الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّةِ. Intention is the first aspect to spirituality. But the second aspect to spirituality is action. These two go hand in hand. You can have the intention all you want, but if you don't execute, then what's the point? You could say that I have the intention to pray Taraweeh every single day, but you didn't put in any effort to go pray Taraweeh a single day. You had the intention, it's there, but the action wasn't there. And on the flip side, some of us are all action, but no intention. Many of us are all action. Imam al-Ghazali mentions something very beautiful in his book, where he talks to one of his students and he says, Ya ayyuhal walad, my dear beloved son, al-ilmu bila amal junoon. Al-ilm bila amal junoon. Wal-amalu bila ilmin la yakun. Doing things, doing so much actions without the knowledge and the pure intention is insanity. And then just having that knowledge and intention but not doing anything, it just doesn't work. So this month, many of us, yes, I'm praying 5 times a day. Yes, I go to Taraweeh. Yes, I do this, I fast, I give. But where's my heart through all of this? And this is what we need to ponder about. And this is what we will talk about in the next khutbah, inshallah. قولوا قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. The reason why I mentioned many of us, where on the flip side, where spirituality is made out of 2 components, intention and action. An-niyyah wal-amal. You see, the reason why I wanted to mention this is because our community and the Muslims we have today, we are very results driven. We're all about numbers. That's all we care about. I fasted 30 days. I prayed every single night Taraweeh. I didn't miss a single salah during the month of Ramadan. I woke up for Fajr every single day. I gave money every single day. We care about nothing but the results. And this is the world that we live in today. We count our good deeds as if we're our own accountants. We start counting every single little thing that we do, especially if it's good. And that's how we base our results. After Ramadan comes, after Ramadan passes, we sit there and say, yeah, I had a good Ramadan. I was at the masjid every single night. I had a good Ramadan. I woke up and prayed Fajr every single day. I had a good Ramadan. I fasted 30 days. I had a good Ramadan. I completed a full Khutba. I read the full Quran. I read 30 juz. I had a good Ramadan. That's how you and I base our Ramadan. Based on these, I don't want to say materialistic, but these results that we count, we're keeping track of. But in reality, this is not how we need to base our Ramadan. The issue is, this is the month of change. This is the month where you need to soften your heart and I need to soften my heart. And we need to reclaim our souls. This nafs has control of it during this month. This nafs that tells you what to do, you need to tell it what to do. You control it during this month. You know, the Prophet Muhammad mentioned something and he says, Niyatul mu'min khayrun min amalih. The intention of a mu'min, of a true believer, is better than his action. How does this correlate to what I was mentioning about us counting every little deed? Okay, you prayed 5 times a day and you didn't miss a prayer. You prayed tarawih. You were here for tahajjud. Where was your heart through it all? Were you sitting in the front rows because you want to make sure everybody knows that you came every single day? Or sometimes the imam's reciting and you have no idea what's happening in salah. Just movements. You're fasting and starving yourself. Some of us, there's a beautiful hadith where the Prophet Muhammad mentions, he says, some of you will literally get anything out of Ramadan, you get nothing but hunger and thirst. That's all you get. You're fasting. How's your spirituality during this month? How are your habits during this month? Was there any bad habits you dropped while you were fasting? Was there any good ones you gained while you were fasting? I woke up for Fajr every day. Sure, I came to the Fajr every day. But how was my heart during that state, during that salah? I gave sadaqah, I gave zakat throughout the entire month. But what kind of change did I do? I'm just giving to all these random websites and all these things, which is great. Keep giving, keep continuing to give. But you people that are closest to you, your own family, you haven't even spoken to them in months maybe. There's still issues between you and some of your friends, some of your partners. And you refuse to reconcile those ties. That silatul raham that the Prophet Muhammad said, awsa biha. He told us you have to reconcile. You're fasting 30 days. You're praying. But you're still holding a grudge against your Muslim brother or sister. You're fasting and you're praying. And you're giving sadaqah and zakat, but your own family members around you are struggling. Your own people around you are struggling. What change did you go through during this month? It's not about what you give, how much actions you've done. There's people who have entered Jannah with just one good deed. And there will be a person on the day of judgment, أَتَدْرُونَ مِنَ الْمُفْلِسِ. The Prophet Muhammad says, do you know who the person who is bankrupt? Muflis, the word in Arabic, bankrupt. Khalas. ما في شيء. Muflis. أَتَدْرُونَ مِنَ الْمُفْلِسِ. And the Sahaba sit there and say, Ya Rasulullah, yes. We know who the muflis is. The one who has nothing to his name, no wealth, no property. Hada muflis. No. The muflis is the one who shows up on the day of judgment with mountains of good deeds. Mountains of good deeds. وَقَدْ شَتَمَ هَذَا وَضَرَبَ هَذَا. But no, he spoke about this person. He said this about this person. We sit there after Ramadan. We sit there and backbite each other. We walk around with arrogance as if we're better than other people. We think that we cannot make 0 mistakes, but then we criticize everybody's mistakes. Did you see what the Imam did? Did you see what he did? Did you see what they did? Did you see what they posted? And hurting other people with our tongue. أَتَدْرُونَ مِنَ الْمُفْلِسِ. That is the muflis. That is the bankrupt, who will come on the day of judgment with a mountain of good deeds. But eventually he will end up in the hellfire. You might count all the good that you do. I pray Taraweeh, I do this, I give zakah, I give sadaqah, I haven't missed Fajr. I read the full Khutba 3 times this month. 30 juzu, I read it 3 times. How's this? How's your heart? Where does it lie during this month? Is your heart for the people, for the community, for the ummah? Or are you only concerned about yourself? Are you the type of person when you go shake another Muslim's hand where they experience change just by shaking your hand? They experience comfort. They experience love by shaking your hand. There's some people you shake their hand, they will never let go until you let go. There's brothers you shake their hand, the smile grows wide and you've never met them. And they ask you about every single thing about you. كيف حالك, كيف صحتك, how's everything going, كيف حال أهلك, كيف حال أبوك, كيف حال... Everything they ask because they want to make sure. Even though they might not be liking, they want to make sure you feel good. Many of us, we shake hands with the face of disgust. Is this how we treat each other? Is this what the month of Ramadan is about? The one thing I want to leave everybody here with, especially myself, is after this month leaves, what changed in me? The things I used to do before Ramadan that I knew were bad, are they still there or are they not there? And did I pick up any good habits? Or did I leave i'tikaf? Did I leave tahajjud only for the last 10 nights and I don't see it again for the next year? Or did I just fast 30 days and I don't fast another day until Yawm Arafah or something? Or am I somebody who practices at least fasting Mondays and Thursdays? At least once a month? Did I leave all my sadaqah and my charity in the month of Ramadan? Or did I continue and bring it with me outside the month of Ramadan? Did I leave my good actions and me holding my tongue in the month of Ramadan? Or did I carry that with me? That's the change. Some people are only capable of reading 1-2 juz'u throughout the entire month because that's the pace they're able to read at. But they make sure that 1 or 2 juz'u that they read, they truly understand kalamullah and the words of Allah. They sit there, they open tafsir, and they try to truly take in what Allah is saying to them. Not just read 30 juz'u and not know what anything means. This is the month of change, ya ikhwan. This is the month where you and I need to sit down, and we need to weigh our actions and our deeds. أُوزِنُوا أَعْمَالَكُمْ قَبْلَ أَن تُوزَنُوا. Weigh your actions, weigh your deeds before they are weighed for you. This is that month. Nobody can tell you what's going on in your life and what's happening and what good you did and what you didn't do. We can only see from the outside, but you know what's on the inside. You know the purpose of why I did everything. You know the purpose of why I got up to pray Fajr and how much sadaqah I gave and what I did and what I didn't do. You know. Correct the intention. Allah will make everything else easy for us. Bi-idhnillah. And I ask Allah to accept from all of us our fasting, our qiyam, our siyam. Ya Rabbil Alameen. Barakallahu lana wa lakum bil ayati wa dhikr. بارك الله لنا ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعني وإياكم بالذكر الحكيم. استغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. وأقم الصلاة.